we're talking about the floor of society or pursuing those passions, like and a lot of people just can't pursue their passions, right? The society is almost set up where it's
staying afloat is difficult.
It's difficult to get to a level where you can pursue your passions.
Yeah.
And you can make a simple mistake in life at a young age and just fuck it all up, and you have no chance.
All of those fucking mistakes.
Yeah. So
I made all of them.
So yesterday, we were at Mellow Mushroom Pizza in Winston-Salem, and there was a homeless guy sitting outside the restaurant on the ground, clearly mentally disabled, and someone gave him a pizza, which was cool, and I told the waitress if he needed anything, just put it on my tab, but he was fine. And this other lady was walking around pushing a shopping cart, and she was probably in her 50s, probably late 50s, and she was she looked confused. She's pushing the cart around. She goes to sit down at a table. She pulls the chair back, puts her purse on the table. The waitress comes out and asks her if she wants to sit there, and the waitress actually cleaned the table for her. We were outdoors, so which I thought was really nice. And the lady actually goes back to her cart, and she has like a container of sanitary wipes, and she pulls a couple out and goes and cleans the table and the chair and stuff. But she's clearly homeless.
Yeah.
And then she sits down and then gets right back up and then starts to, like, she's really confused. She's not really sure what she's doing, almost like she's schizophrenic or something.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she needed anything, and she smiled at me, and it was almost like a bashful smile, like either bashful or maybe even embarrassed. But she was not, all there. And I told my wife, I was like, how can this lady doesn't need to be.
Yeah. You're right. And that's the shit I've been thinking about a lot lately, man, is like, I don't know, how do we help people in that position? And I'll be perfectly honest with you. If this wasn't happening right now, if I didn't have the club downtown, in about 10 years, that would be me. And it still might be. You know what I mean? I've come to terms with the fact that at some point in my life, I was going to be alone and living outside.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's going to be you anymore, unless you just do it voluntarily.
Yeah.
Unless you
Which
just
I
do
have. I have done.
But my thought was, we. So here's the problem.
Both are possible, by the way.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
But it's also possible for me and for him,
right,
and for everybody.
For anybody, yeah.
Every there's an infinite number of possibilities, right?
Yes.
It's really just your choice, and then those actions, right?
And some things aren't your choice too, though.
And some things happen, and you need the assist on occasion, and that's what's recently. So when I'm away from people, when I got away from my. When I started comedy, I broke ties with everybody. I disappeared. I fell off the planet. I lived in a van. I didn't talk to anybody. My kids, my wife at the time, anyone I was dating, I fucking disappeared. And that's how I went into that fucking hole. And now, climbing out of it, what I realized is I need them because that can't happen for them. I need them to know that that's never going to be them. And I need to provide that for them.
Right, yeah.
So that's where all of my energy is going now, every fucking day.
Yeah.
And I still feel the same way I felt before. Mental illness is a motherfucker, and I deal with it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I deal with it openly. We're going to talk on this show all the fucking time about it. And I still live in that. So I'm talking to people recently, and I'm trying to change my mindset totally. And they always say, it's good to hear you doing so good. And I'm not. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not doing good. Yeah. I'm trying harder. I'm doing different things.
Yeah.
And I believe that the situations are going to change.
Yeah, you're doing, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys ever cry on your podcast?
Not really.
We're going to stop
maybe
doing
once.
This is on your podcast, so I got a little crying in there.
What, this is your podcast, but what
it's your episode.
Hey,
God damn it,
Up the streak, baby.
Hey.
What got me emotional about that, though, was I couldn't even get to the point that I wanted to make, really, was when we left, which that really bothered me with the lady there. I was like, this is a shame. That shouldn't she shouldn't be on the street. She needs medical help. Really, she needs to be in a home.
Yeah.
She needs attention. She's not capable of being out there by herself. It's just not. It's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we left, the guy that was sitting on the ground shouldn't have been there either. He was clearly mentally disabled, and I gave him a few dollars. And then my daughter, when we were walking away, she said, "Daddy, what's wrong with him?" I was like, "Well, he has a tough life. He's got some issues he's dealing with." And she said, "Is he bony?" And I had showed her like almost a year ago some videos of starving children to give her perspective, because she has a really good life, because she didn't want to eat her food, and I was like, you have to be thankful for everything you have, because there's a lot of people that don't have what you have. And but I was like, I told her, I said, these kids are starving. They're skin and bones, and she said, and that's where she got the bony thing from. And I was like, these kids don't have any hope. Like, there's no chance, and I said, we have to work together as people to fix these problems. And she saw that guy yesterday, and she saw it.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing, it's a good thing for her to see that, experience that. And
he is bony, right? I mean, because he doesn't have what he needs. And that's what she saw. You showed her people who don't have what they need.
Yeah.
She saw someone who didn't have what they need.
Right. Yeah. And so I think the key in society right now, we still have an element of our society that craves a power. For some reason, some people get off on having power over other people, but you don't have to have power to have success, or you could have infinite success without power. There's no purpose for it. Power was a way to gain control of resources back in the day. Like when one society would say, I'm going to conquer this society so I can feed my people. We don't have to do that today. But we spend trillions of dollars fighting wars that don't need to happen, when we can invest that same amount of money into just people who need to do better. Mm-hmm. Like we can invest that into our society as a whole to improve the society. We can invest that into other societies too, to improve those societies. And I think we'll get there. I'm not sure how long it'll take.
You're so much more optimistic every time we talk about this.
Well, I think we are getting there. And the reason I say that
I believe that you're right.
Is because, so think about it. I think about my family.
Yeah.
So my dad was, he went through a lot of abuse, had some terrible stuff happen to him as a kid. Not sexual abuse, but physical abuse and mental abuse. Yeah. And then, that passed on to me a little bit. Yeah. I went through some shit when I was a kid. And my dad, I love my dad tremendously, and he's a good father, and he did the best he could, and I saw his struggle with his trauma that he experienced, and unfortunately he passed some of that to me. And now I'm a parent, and I see those things in me. I look inside, I'm introspective, self-aware, and I see those faults in me. I see the stuff I see the stuff I've gained from trauma and that have been passed on to me. And I try to be very aware of those things, and I fight those battles every day. Mm-hmm. And now my daughter is in a situation where she doesn't have to experience
it's so much less.
Nearly as much of that stuff. I mean, it's so minuscule compared to what I went through, or my dad went through, or his dad went through.
Sure.
So it's about fixing. It's about I guess fixing humanity one generation at a time, right? Mm-hmm. So you're trying to improve each generation. You want to make sure that your kids do better than you do. So maybe my whole life, I just spend my whole life creating the best shit I can, become as successful as I can through the stuff I create. Hopefully I create things that are good enough for people to appreciate, and they become successful. It's like Elon Musk. Elon Musk created billion-dollar companies so he could change the world. That's his goal. Yeah. And I think even Jeff Bezos has said the same thing. His whole goal was to create a spacefaring society so he could move manufacturing into space so we could increase our population on the Earth and have 1,000 Einsteins. And the only way he could do that, he didn't give a shit about books. He just wanted to create a powerful machine to fuel those ideas that he thought would benefit humanity. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to use my creative ideas. I love to create things. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. And when I create something cool, I'm really proud of it, and it makes me fulfilled. But, the ultimate goal is to create enough cool shit that it gives me the resources to make a difference. And maybe I don't have enough time to make a difference, but my daughter may. Maybe she can pick up the baton where I leave it off, and she's the one that makes the difference.
Yeah.